there, this is Real Talk Baseball on Carlos Baseball. With me as always is ErnieOrange. We have a great show for you guys today. Actually, there's 1 week left of baseball. There's a lot of teams that haven't won a division. They clinched the playoff but haven't won the division or haven't won their spot in the wild card. But before we get into all that, how's it going, Ernie?
Well, we're excited to be back on another beautiful Sunday night. We have a lot of baseball to talk. 6 games left into the season. A lot of craziness, and just in 1 week, Carlos. Can you believe that? A week ago, we were talking about these teams were set to be making the postseason. Now, we're thinking about something else. We possibly could be missing the playoffs for a couple teams here in the MLB. It's crazy how the turn of events have just happened in the span of a week.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, a lot of things have been happening as we've been talking about playoff baseball. Mike Trout hit 400 home runs yesterday. Did you get to see it?
Yeah, it was a very special moment. Watching Mike Trout hit his number 400, it was a struggle for him to get that number 400. It felt like the past month and a half, he's just been really struggling, battling out there in the trying to get his a bat and get a home run. But it was a great moment to see Mike Trout launch one out of Coors Field, 485 feet. Special moment. The fan catching it bare hand was a spectacular moment there with his family, and giving the ball back to Mike Trout, which was very honorary and really respectful from the fan. From both sides were winning there. Not only did the fan get to experience meeting Mike Trout, getting signed memorabilia, and get pictures, he got to be witness all over social media. Everybody posted about him, and for such a great act that the fan did.
Dude, there was a lot of positives out there saying, oh man, what a good guy. Good thing that he did that. And then you had all the negatives like, oh man, I would have took $50,000 away from him, $100,000 from him. And it's like, look, this guy did the right thing in my eyes. Because if I would have been that guy catching the ball from Mike Trout or whoever it was, I'll probably be like, hey man, come on to the show. That's all you need to do. Just come on to the show, take some questions from all my friends on here, and let's do the baseball thing. And I'll give you the ball. That I think something like that is fine. I just feel like all these people crying to get that money. Maybe it's just I don't know. I just feel a little different about getting
Definitely.
that. But I would ask though. I would ask. Come on.
The people were the way the economy is doing these days. A lot of people could use that money, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame the guy for not asking for me a couple thousands. I mean, why not? But at the same time, he did the right thing. He just gave the ball to Mike Trout, who deservedly needed it. Mm-hmm. It meant a lot to him. So for this fan, I mean, not only is he going home with a lot of pictures, a lot of memories, and a lot of stuff that he could eventually sell too. So why not?
Yeah.
Hey, well, thanks to Mal for tuning in. He's saying that Giants saw their name on that toilet seat today and said we took that personally. Oh, okay. I mean, Giants got a big win today, right, Carlos? I mean,
yeah. They got a big win, dude, and they needed to get that win. But let's get into our topics, dude, before we, get sidetracked, because it's easy when we're talking about baseball, right?
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and put the AL wild card standings up, and because they're still not settled. It seemed like it was going to be settled from last week, and we were saying, oh, you know what, the Astros, the Red Sox, and the Yankees are going to take it over, and that's it. But the Guardians decided to show up this last week and won 10 in a row before they lost today, of course.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on over here, dude? Did you expect the Cleveland Guardians to step up this week and be so close in this race?
Yeah, I mean, the way they were playing all season, you probably would have said no. I mean, but the talent has always been there, right? This Guardians team continuously is in the playoff mix every single year. This year, unfortunately, it was just not the same first half Guardians team we've seen in the past. And with Emmanuel Closet dealing with that issue with the gambling situation, you just thought there's no way they lost that bullpen they once had. But surprisingly, the bullpen has done its job. I mean, K. Smith, Gaddis has just picked it right up. And not only that, the starting rotation has also been lights out. Logan Allen, Gavin Williams, they're just been those role pitchers that have been getting some great innings from this Guardians team. Tanner Beebe showing his experience as well. Up-and-coming pitcher Parker Masick is also showing promising signs there. And you got to give it credit to this Guardian team. This Jose Ramirez guy just continues to prove that he's a future Hall of Famer for this franchise, having another 30-30 season for his third time in his career. The guy is unstoppable. And then you add him with a defensive team like Steven Kwan in the outfield. You can't believe this Guardians team continues to prove themselves. They are winners. They are going to make the playoffs, and it's just the way they're playing right now. Unfortunately, they lost a tough loss today against this Twins team. Royce Lewis played big-time spoiler and Brooks lead the two, hitting home runs and spoiling this win for the Guardians. But other than that, this is a crucial matchup this upcoming week. Tigers against the Guardians. Three pitchers, Tigers are throwing their three best pitchers against the Guardians' three best pitchers and see who's going to win. So this is really exciting. Must watch TV if you're a big baseball fan like we are. And I'm taking the edge to the Guardians right now. And I'm even going to give them the edge to winning the division, which is a big shocker because this Tigers team was one of the most dangerous team in the first half of the season. Can this Tiger team continue to win, Carlos?
Dude, this is where I was kind of feeling like, man, what's going on with the Tigers? The Tigers have lost, 8 of their last 10, and they didn't win. They didn't get any wins in this homestand, which is crazy to me because they were playing so good at home in Detroit. So the thing that's happening with the Tigers is something unexplainable. And, AJ Hinch came out. He did say, he was like, I don't know what to tell my guys. I don't know what to say to my guys to get inspired and get it going because it just happens, dude. So we saw them play good baseball throughout the whole season. And then it's getting to the end of the season. And this is where you don't want to see your team slow down. And we've talked about this from other teams. We saw it with the Mets. We saw the Mets play good baseball, then they went down, and they were good and bad. Now the Tigers, they've been playing good all season, and then this is the end of the season. Do you really want to play like this at the end of the season? And this is a long season. Agent Hinch has coached the Astros, has managed the Astros. He knows how to manage playoff teams. He knows how to tell them, hey, take your foot off the metal a little bit. Let's relax in July. Go in August, let's play a little bit harder. And then once we get to September, boom, let's turn it back on. So I don't know what's happening. I do see a panic button for the Detroit Tigers. And that panic button better be on right now because you were in first place all season and all of a sudden you're not going to make the playoffs. I mean, that's crazy.
2 months ago, they were up 15 and a half games up in first place. This is going to be one of the biggest collapse in history if you lose this division. Now, this Tigers team continues to depend on the long ball. It seems like they no longer hit, and I'm really concerned going into the postseason because pitching dominates in the postseason. Pitching wins games, and if you depend on that long ball, I'm not sure if your guys like Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson are going to be really that answer that you really need going deep into the playoffs. Now the pitching wise, Jack Flaherty has had a tough outings recently. Tarek Skubals, had a little minor injury. He's still a true ace, a true Cy Young, but it feels like they only ride on him to depend on the big wins.
Yeah.
And it's a huge concern because this Tigers team was balling out and now it just died out. The offensive numbers are no longer there. And this trade deadline was really important and you really didn't make much moves. Scott Harris, a GM, was trying to make the most moves, but unfortunately, a 41-year-old Charlie Morton was your only really big pickup for the trade deadline. It has not worked out. At ERA above 7. And now just today they announced that he has been designated for assignment, about to get cut, thrown to the waiver wire. It is an unfortunate situation. These trade deadlines, you expect to pick up the best player possible, but sometimes it doesn't work out. And this is one of those scenarios where they were really depending on Charlie Morton's experience. AJ Hinch has managed him in the past. But, H has caught up to him, and unfortunately, I think it's time to move on. And this is where I'm not sure if the Tigers have enough depth in the pitching to go deep into the playoffs.
And this is another thing I forgot to mention. Javi Baez, he's one of the players that they got so they can go ahead and have him as a leader in this team. I know he hasn't panned out these couple of seasons, but this season they put him out in the outfield. He started playing outfield. He started hitting the ball. They put him at short. He's hitting the ball. He was having fun. Where is he in these crucial moments? That's why they signed you. They signed you because you won a World Series with the Cubs. The Cubs hadn't won it in 80 or 100 and something years, and you win it in that team. Now you go to the Tigers. They gave you a huge contract, and this is where they expect you to show up. It might not be at the bat. It might not be in defense, but they need your leadership. That's what they need to, look for. And I think Javi Baez at this point, he needs to step up, vocally and demand more from his team, dude. So it's crazy, dude. And that's not the only team though that's looking at it. If you're looking at the standings right now, it's not the only team. Let's go back to the wild card. So
sorry, yes, I cut you off. We went straight to the AL Central. I guess I have lots to say about it, but the wild card is madness right now.
Yeah, it's still madness. That's what I'm saying. Like these teams two of those, possibly even three of those, possibly cannot might make the playoffs, right? Or
Yes.
it will change in a different situation where maybe the Yankees win the division, and you have the Blue Jays come into the wild card. The Red Sox might move all the way to the bottom, or possibly not even make the playoffs. So this is where it's fun. This is where we have a lot of fun watching these games at the end of the season. So, do you see any movement from here from this wild card? Is it going to stay the same, or is it going to change a lot?
Man, every time I want to doubt this Astros team, they prove me wrong. And, just this weekend against the Rangers, we thought the Rangers were going to come in here, sneak up, and get some big wins, because the Astros are having all these lingering injuries. But no, the Astros continue to play great. Zach Cole, the rookie sensation, came and showed out. Jeremy Pena showing why he's a real deal. And so it's hard for me to count out this Astros team as much as I would not want to see them in the playoffs. It's hard for me to say that they're not going to be there. They continue to prove me wrong every year. And, they just find ways to win. That's what they do. So for right now, I'm going to give the edge to the Astros. I know they're just being swept by the Mariners, but that's just a different ball team right now. That Mariners team is something special, someone dangerous right now that you do not want to face. They're, could beat you from the top of the lineup or the bottom of the lineup. You pick your poison. They're dangerous, even with their pitching staff. So this Astro team right now, it's some time to worry, man. It's the panic button. They got to pick it up. Jordan Alvarez is going to miss some time. That's another big loss for them. Carlos Correa, that needs to be the big leader right there and step up with Jose Altuve. Show these young kids how it's done and how you win these playoff games, because going forward, I mean, this is a crucial weekend for them. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to withstand this hot Guardians team, but I'm going to give the edge to the Astros right now. And, man, this Tigers team could potentially miss the playoffs right now, the way they're playing.
Yeah. It's just crazy.
Who would have saw that coming?
I didn't, and it's only one. The Tigers are only one game above. So let me go back to the wild card. Just put this up here, but the Guardians are tied with the Houston Astros right now. I know the graph or the picture is not showing, but the Astros did just lose against the Mariners. They just got swept by them, and you've been calling it all season, Ernie, that the Mariners are going to win the division, and it's looking like it right now. So I don't see a lot of movement from here. I don't see the Yankees winning the division. Let me show you. Let me put it back up here. I don't see that happening, but 2 games. There's still 6 games left. It's a possibility it could change, and like that to me, I think if that happens, it's going to surprise me, dude. But yeah, I do see a big team missing the playoffs this year, and I'm gonna have to say the Tigers, dude. I'm gonna say the Tigers are gonna miss the playoffs, and the Guardians are gonna step right in and take that division, and it's gonna suck, dude. It's gonna suck for Detroit.
The funny thing about baseball, it's all about momentum. It's like you said, it's a very long season. These guys, the way they play, it's just mentally, you have to be hot and got to be feeling like good in the up in the plate, or else you're not gonna perform. And right now, the way the Guardians team is playing and against this Tigers coming into Cleveland this week, I'm giving the Guardians the edge right now. And I would have said that 2 months ago. There was no way. The Tigers were one of the hottest teams in baseball, and now you're talking about one of the biggest collapse. But that's the beauty about baseball. Now the AL East, man, this is another Blue Jays team that just clinched the postseason, and it's also been very hot all season long. But now you got this Yankee team that is playing pretty good. They found ways to finally soothe everything out, and they're playing better defensively. They're getting some timely hitting. Ben Rice has been a huge spark in the middle of the lineup. Aaron Judge is finding his groove again. So this Yankee team could overtake this Blue Jays team. And with the Blue Jays right now, they're a bit banged up. Bo Bichet's been a big loss for them right now. You're not sure how long he's going to be out with that knee injury. And Vladdy Guerrero and George Springer have been only the really guys really playing well for them right now. So the way the Yankees playing, they want it more, I think, right now. They know they have a bigger fan base. The fans want to see them respond well, and they don't want to lose. So give me the Yankees in this division, man. It is not over. I am taking the Yankees to winning this division. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the way they've been playing as of late, you got to give them the edge here too. It's 6 games. I can see the Yankees going 5-1 in the final stretch, and it's overtaking this division against the Blue Jays. Final statement, man. Got to call it out. Yeah, it's because.
So you got the Mariners winning the division, and then you got the Guardians winning the Central.
Yes, Guardians and the Yankees. Yes, who would have
Yankees.
seen it
Okay.
coming? But this Tiger team took a turn that we did not expect.
Yeah. I
You know,
didn't
they
either,
were the
dude.
hottest team in the American League all year, and it
Yeah.
just fell apart. That is wild.
All right. So you got the Mariners, you got the Guardians, and you got the Yankees. So I got the Mariners. I'm not. I'm losing faith on the Houston Astros, and then the Guardians, and I'm still picking the Toronto Blue Jays. Where's this? Where's this at right here?
No,
That's not changing my mind, by the way.
not at
So
all.
yeah. So we'll leave it at that. Let's call out. Let's call out the wild card. Who do you
Yes.
got? Are you going to stay the same, or are you going to change it up?
Well, in this case, I think the Boston moves into the. I'm sorry, the Blue Jays would fall into the first wild card
Spot.
spot.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Sox will stay in second, and here, this is where I do believe the Astros do finish in the final spot still. I mean, they have an easy stretch. They got to win these next 6 games. It's against the A's and the Angels, the bottom half of the division, and you should win. There's no
Yeah.
excuses. I know you're dealing with Jordan Hours, but he's been out all year. You did lose Bregman. I mean, but you seem like you didn't need him all year anyways. You were above 500 without him anyway. So, yeah, with these next 6 games, I do see the Astros still making the playoffs. I mean, the Angels and the A's, they're easy matchups right now. They're almost facing AAA players.
Yeah.
At this
Well,
point.
I see it the same. I see it New York, Red Sox, and the Houston Astros. So, sorry, Detroit. I don't think I see the Tigers making the playoffs, and it sucks, dude. I do want to see them in there, but it's just hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's move to the National League. The wild card is a little bit more broader. I did at the Marlins. I know mathematically they're not eliminated, but you have to overcome so many teams so you can make that last third spot of the wild card. And 4 games in 6 days, I don't know. I mean, 7 days, I don't know if they could be able to do it. But anything's possible, like
Yes.
baseball is one of those things where you close your eyes and you look up and the score changes in a second. So this could happen for the Marlins, it could happen for the Giants, and it could definitely happen for the Arizona Diamondbacks, which I feel like that's the team I fear the most, dude. I fear the most because they're a scrappy team that can put things together, and they did in 2023. They went all the way into the World Series, playing good baseball at the end of the season. So sometimes you
How?
just need to click at the right time, and the Diamondbacks are a perfect example of that, right?
This is wild to me. Seeing the Diamondbacks being in the mix, being a game out of the wild card. Let's talk about what they did in the trade deadline. There were sellers. They got rid of Eugenio Suarez, Josh
Mhm.
Naylor, send them out to the Mariners, and somehow
Yep.
you're still winning. And then you also trade Merrill Kelly to the Rangers. Somehow you picked up all these top prospects for the future. Not only that, your team offensively is just picking right up. I mean, they did lose Lourdes Gurriel to an ACL tear, and somehow their bats are hot right now. Corbin Carroll is that elite player they really need. Ketel Marte showing that experience, and Geraldo Perdomo as well. I mean, those 3 guys are taking over for this Diamondbacks team and giving them something to depend on, some timely hitting, some timely runs. And this is why they're 2 games above 500 with the chance of making the playoffs. I mean, it's an incredible run they are. Like you said, they are very sneaky offensively. They could beat you in any way. And
Yeah.
they also have pretty strong pitching. Zach Allen is a true ace. They got veterans like Eduardo Rodriguez that could eat up some innings. And, I mean, they're doing what they can with what they got. And somehow they're managing to win.
And
Now,
they're
the
playing the
Cubs,
Dodgers next, dude. They're
they are.
playing the Dodgers next, so they own them.
They really do. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen. It's going to be in Arizona, and I think they're going to play hard. They're going to win. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens. But I think the Cubs and Padres are pretty much set in this wild card situation.
Yeah.
Now, the Reds and Mets, who do you have?
The Reds and Mets. Oh man, this is a tough one, dude. Because you had the Mets playing good baseball, bad baseball. I said at the beginning of the show, we've had shows that we've talked about how good the Mets are and how they've been performing. But when you start looking at the team and you start looking at how they lose their games, and how they're not performing, did they get too hot too soon? And then at the end of the season, they're not making that push. But that's what happened to them last year. They were clinging by a rope in the last 5 games, and they magically got in and they got hot. So that's a scary team as well, but a scary team making it to the playoffs. I don't see them pushing like a lot, only because I feel like a lot of these teams are tired right now, dude. I feel like this season was super long, and we've been covering almost every week, and we've been saying like, damn, this season has been one of the longest I've ever been part of, and been, you know, been doing the podcast for. But I've seen these players be tired as well.
Yeah.
Like, and I see them exhausted in the interviews. They're saying that, oh man, it was a tough week. We lost 6, we lost 7, and then they went 8. So, dude, it's just crazy, man. But do I see the Reds in there? I don't. I don't see the Reds in there.
Really?
Why? Because they get hot and then they get cold. And I mean, I don't know. I need to look at their schedule, actually. Let me go ahead and do that now.
I
But
mean, the Reds are very streaky, right? Like you said, they've
yeah,
been hot and cold. Now, if you ask any Mets fan, do they expect their Mets to be in the playoffs? They're pretty much going to
yeah.
tell you they don't deserve to be there.
You think
They're
so?
disappointed. Yeah, man, they played terrible this past month. They just cannot seem to win any series. They're falling short offensively. They just can't depend on. You cannot depend on 3 rookies to take you deep into the postseason. I'm sorry. If your main core guys cannot take you there, there's no reason you should be even in the mix. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, this Mets team has been a bit banged up. Mark Vientos has just not lived up to his sophomore season. And, Brandon Nimmo, all these guys are just not really hitting. Juan
no,
Soto is like being the only guy realistically right now getting things done. But this Reds team right now holds the tiebreaker and holds the edge over the Diamondbacks or the Mets, which is a huge thing to worry about. I mean, they do have great pitching, Carlos. Andrew
yeah,
Abbott's been a true pitcher this year, a great arm for them. Hunter Green, I mean, you name it, they're just there. I mean, Jamal's
yeah.
mentioned Ellie De La Cruz might be heating heating up at the right time, and I think so too. That's not a guy you want to be hot in the last week into the season. He is dangerous. He could beat you in any way, speed, power, you name it.
That's true. But you got to look at the next matchup the Reds have. They're playing against the Pirates. After
Yes.
the Pirates, they're playing the Brewers. And to me, that's a tough situation to be in because the Brewers are gonna. Do I sit back and let it just unfold, or do I put players in that I need to see what my roster is going to look like in the playoffs? Or because they have that bye,
Yes.
at the beginning. So I don't know if they're going to go ahead and say I'm gonna rest my players
You
just
rest.
yet
You rest.
because exactly. So the rest, the rest that comes after that last game, it's 5 games. Remember, 5 days. And we've talked about this before where we said, man, does that rest mess up the best team in baseball, and should they change it? Because now they're experiencing something totally different than when they done years past. When the Brewers have been in there, they've gone play the wild card game. They've
Yes.
never won a division and had the first or the best record in all MLB. This is different for them.
It
So
really is.
so this is where I feel like the Reds might not even make it because of that. Do I see the Reds being better in the future? Yes. It's a thing that they need to work on. We said it in the beginning of the season. The Reds have a good team. Francona's there. He's going to change their mindset. Now, next year, if they don't make it this year to the playoffs, next year is different. And I think they're going to have that urge and that hunger to make playoffs and possibly make a run for it against the Brewers, dude, and win that division, and the Cubs, right? So,
Yeah.
but not this year. For me, not this year, dude.
What?
Sorry. Yeah, not this year.
There's just no way I give the edge to the Mets right now. The way the Reds have been playing, they do have Spencer
Oh,
Steer
but
been
I'm not giving
balling.
it to the Mets either.
No, you're not. Okay, better
No,
not
no,
because
no. I'm not giving it to the Mets either. I'm picking the Diamondbacks on this one.
really okay,
I
man. That's
am.
pretty interesting because I
Yeah.
could see the Diamondbacks make a move, but they do have that Dodger matchup this week. Like you said, the Reds do have to face the Brewers, but I do think the Brewers are going to rest the final 2 games into the season. The season's too long. I think these guys need to rest as much as possible. And I feel like Pat Murphy's going to give them as much rest it could possibly need. Brandon Woodruff right now just got announced that he's going to the IL with a lat strain. That was a huge loss for them because he's been one of the spectacular pitchers in this game of baseball. Every time he's healthy, he's lights out. And I feel like that's a huge arm that you would love to have in the postseason. So that is a huge loss for this Brewers team. So right now, I think these guys just need as much rest as possible. And the Reds will take advantage of that situation. I mean, you got guys that could hit in that lineup. I mean, first off with Ellie De La Cruz, Spencer Steer, Gavin Lux. There's guys out there that could get into base. Austin Hayes, they'll find ways to win, and I think give them the edge right now. Terry Francona is going to get these guys in the right mindset to close out the final 6 games of the season.
So who do you got?
The Reds. It's the way it is right now. Yeah, you're going to give it. Maybe even tie with the Mets, but I feel like with the tiebreaker, the Reds take the advantage. Well, I'll give them the edge to the Reds.
The Reds. All right. Well, I got the D-backs. It's the Cubs, the Padres, and the D-backs for me.
Definitely.
You got the Cubs, the Padres, and the Reds. The way that it is right now. All right.
Can we
There's
talk
still one.
about how poorly this Mets team's doing though? What the heck's wrong with them? I mean, I just can't seem to figure out what went wrong. I mean, you have Pete Alonso, Frankie Lindor. I mean, you have talent there. Like, what
Dude.
could possibly go wrong? I mean, everything went wrong for them. Pitching wise, his arms just started falling off, and the bats going super cold. I
Yeah.
just can't believe it.
Dude, I try to string up or try to bring some videos up and see what's going on with the Mets, and I don't know what it is that happened to them. They don't have the same spark they had last year. You
Not at
know,
all.
last year they had a good spark. They went into the playoffs, and I've said it, and we've kept saying this. We've said it last year. We said it this year that the Mets have a good team, but what's going on with them? Is there something going on internally that we don't know about? Is the coach not getting along with the players? It's Juan Soto, one of those players that has cancer, you know, and be like one of those players that don't get along with certain players. And we said that with the Padres. We said that when he was out there in San Diego. Is there too many Eagles out there? Is there a lot of Eagles here in the Mets? Because I don't see Lindor doing that, but we don't know. Behind closed doors is different, right? You know,
Right.
and a lot of people say that Juan Soto is one of the coolest guys to be around when you're talking about baseball. So what's really going on there? I only time will tell, and I think we'll know if they don't make the playoffs. We'll know what's going on, dude. Because
Yeah,
I just got a feeling something's going on in that clubhouse, and someone's not getting along, dude. And I hate
definitely.
to say that. I hate to say that, but I think that's what it is.
I just want to add one point. I think they had a terrible trade deadline as well. I think they try to make the best moves possible, but it has not worked out for them. You know, look at the closer they got, Ryan Helsley, just over the hump already. Hasn't lived up to his name. Cedric Mullins, another at bat they were expecting huge spark from, just has not been there. And then all their bullpen guys. I mean, they got Rogers, they got who else? Gregory Soto, thinking they were going to be the next big thing, and it just
Yeah.
hasn't lived up to expectation. And
No.
then Edwin Diaz has just been a bit shaky too, and we're seeing a Mets team just falling apart. And I'm telling you, if you go to social media, all Mets fans are worried. They are already calling for Carlos Mendoza's job. They want a new face to lead this team to the playoffs next year.
Yeah, I did see that, but I also see like, oh, there's still a chance. You see those hopeful fans say, hey, this is just a little bad stretch. We had the bad stretches, you know, during the season, just like we had good stretches. So, and we've seen it all season. So only time will tell, and we'll see what happens moving forward, and we'll know next week. You know, so
Mets
stay
Cubs
tuned.
this week.
That's
Mets and Cubs this Tuesday through Thursday.
they have a tough matchup, dude.
And the Cubs are coming. I mean, and the Cubs just got swept 4 games by the Reds. Just throwing that out there. That was a huge, huge series for the
It
Reds,
was,
and
yeah,
a
it was.
division rival, and taking 4 games like that. Big, big, big move.
Big move. All right, we got one more division to talk about, and that's the Dodgers Padres. The Padres still have a chance to win this division. You know, we've talked about how they didn't take advantage in the early part of the month, early part of August. The Dodgers didn't have a good month of August and went into September kind of like crawling in. And they
Yeah.
never lost the first place, dude. The Padres will tie. They'll probably, you know, oh yeah, they did actually. They did lose the first place. They went up one game and that was it. Then they lost it the next day. So the Padres didn't take advantage. They didn't do what they needed to do to win this division. Do you still see the Padres winning this division?
I mean, it's seeing a little too late now at this point. I think the Padres are accepting the fact that they're just a wild card team. If you ask them, they'd rather not rest. They'd rather just go into the playoffs and just go straight to a wild card. At this point, I mean, you had every opportunity to overtake the Dodgers, and you just never took advantage of the situation, a banked up Dodgers team. I mean, the Padres were also dealing with nagging injuries as well, but I feel like offensively, they just kind of quieted down, and most of their at-bats went kind of cold. I mean, Ramon Laureano was a big spark for them in the trade deadline, but other than that, I mean, besides Tatis and Machado, there has been really nobody else out there that's been picking it up as the role players in the middle of the lineup. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then pitching wise, I feel like the starters have just been okay. I mean, they have not seen nothing spectacular. Michael King, coming back from injury. Yu Darvish is just a veteran pitcher now at this point of his career. And I mean, I'm not seeing much from them. And I'm really worried for them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't see them winning the division only because they're going to play against the Milwaukee Brewers, dude. And this is a potential playoff matchup that's happening during the season. We're gonna get to see it before the season ends, but like I said, I don't think I see it. They didn't take advantage when they needed to, and a lot of Padre fans, started, realizing, damn, this is not as a good team as we thought it was, like we had last year, the years before. So this is crazy, dude, to see like a team or fans kind of back up a little bit and just be like, damn, like we're not looking all that great. We're going into the playoffs. We're crawling in, and but like I said, baseball's crazy, dude. Baseball's a game that you're like, you go in there crawling, and then for all of a sudden, they win all these games, and you're like, damn, they won the World Series. They weren't even the best team, but they got hot at
Exactly.
the right time.
And the way
So
the wild card is set up these days, I mean, it's just a 3-game series. You just got to win 2 out of 3. You could win back-to-back games, and now you're like the hottest team going into the division series,
yeah,
just like that in a span of 2 games.
yeah, yeah.
So, I
Are
mean,
we?
it's not over for none of these teams. I know there's been a lot of hot and streaky teams, a lot of cold teams as well. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
things could still change in the span of a week. I mean, we're just witnessing the Guardians right now go into a 10-game winning streak, who no one saw coming in the month of September. They were able to climb 5.5 games back in the span of 96 hours. It was just wild the way they've managed to come and climb that division. And this is why baseball is beautiful. I mean, you can never count nobody out. The amount of times that we've seen teams come out of nowhere to take a division has been always there. The history repeats itself every year.
Every year, dude. Every year. All right, man. We already set our picks for the playoffs, and hopefully one of us hits it. And if we don't hit it, I mean, we're here to talk about it. And if you want to comment on it and say, "Hey, you said this was gonna happen, and it didn't," well, we're not Nostradamus. We're just guessing at this point.
Nah, man. For the most part, we'll say that we get it pretty right most of the time. I mean, you did mention the what Giants team was going to be a big surprise this year. They really were. They were in contention all year round. And if it wasn't for this weekend against the Dodgers, I mean, you would talk about the Giants being in the mix in the
That's
playoffs
true.
right now. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just this Dodgers team with this rivalry they have. The Dodgers are heck, they're not going to let the Giants try to climb up that wild card. No way. And that's why I think the Diamondbacks fall short too, because this Dodgers team is not letting this Diamondback team climb that wild card and take that last spot.
That's the team that scares me, though. The Diamondbacks do scare me. I know, like I know
They
a lot
do
of
have
people
the
are gonna.
Dodgers number as of late,
Yeah,
right? They
yeah.
play them hard like no other team.
Yeah, dude, and it's like that's what's scary, dude. These teams that are not in the mix, but they're potentially could be in the mix because if they win all their games, let's say they win 5 out of the 6, they have a shot, right? So
No.
this is what's scary about baseball. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk a little bit more about other people that won hit home runs, like Stanton? He hit 450 this week too.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of special moments besides the Mike Trout 400 home run. We also had Giancarlo Stanton hitting his 450 home run, which was an impressive feat. A guy that's been in the league for a while already now, too, who's dealt with a lot of injuries. And it's also been a future Hall of Famer. I mean, the guy crushes home runs every time out, and he's just a special player. And we also want to throw another mention. Cal Raleigh hitting number 58 today, overpassing the Mariners record for all-time home runs in a season. What an impressive season right now he's had. Talk about a switch hitting catcher that has overpassed Ken Griffey and the home run record for that franchise. What an impressive moment for him. Now, the question I want to ask you, does Cal Riley deserve to be mentioned in those MVP talks? I know there's people saying Judge is better. There's people saying Riley deserves it more because he's a catcher and he sits on his butt all day while Judge just stands in the outfield. It's not fair. Who are you giving this edge to this AO MVP? I mean, you talk about Cal Riley, a guy who no one saw coming. He showed previews of power past seasons, but this year alone, he's been a big, dangerous hitter in that lineup.
Yeah, I've said it before, and we talked about it a little in other shows, and we said that Kyle Raleigh deserves to be in the talks of MVP. Why not? Why? Because
Definitely.
58 home runs doesn't come easy, especially for catchers. Remember, the guy that held the most home runs hit 48 home runs, which was Salder Perez, dude, and he overtook it by 10 home runs. Now he's at 58. That's incredible, and he's a
Yeah.
switch hitter too. So just by hearing that he's a switch hitter, he's a catcher, that kind of draws attention to his name. Now you got to look at the other side. Aaron Judge is not letting up, dude. This guy's leading in RBIs. He's not leading in home runs, but he's leading in batting average. He's a team captain for the Yankees. He's still doing it out in the outfield. Remember, he was injured and they decided to put him as a DH, but he still said, I'll play out there. It's okay. I'll just be careful with my arm. He's playing out there, dude. So it's not close. It's not fair for Aaron Judge to have this, big news coming from Cal Raleigh and say, oh, he's going to be the MVP, even though the numbers show that Aaron Judge is going to be the MVP, dude. Why?
Right.
Because it's just like it's just the way it is. Hopefully, what happens is that the writers don't go and say what I said earlier in these early shows. He's a catcher. He's hit 58 home runs. Possibly could hit the 63 home runs. We don't know,
Ooh,
right? It
I
could be
mean,
it could be that. It could happen.
it
There's
definitely
still there's
can.
still enough games. There's still enough games for that to happen. So hopefully these writers don't go ahead and vote and say, "Oh, I want something different," because if it does, it's gonna suck. I don't agree with writers that say, "Oh, we have a different name. Let's go ahead and vote for him. He had an impressive season." But don't overlook Aaron Judge. He has a great season every year out.
Right.
So I don't think it's fair. I still say Aaron Judge is the MVP, dude. And I'm not discrediting anything that
No.
Kyle Riley's doing, dude. It's just we going based on off of numbers. We're going based off what the team is doing, and both teams are doing good. They're performing well. It's just one player is doing better than the other, way better than the other.
Oh man.
Yeah,
As much as I want earlier in the season, I would have said Aaron Judge, but I feel like as of late, he's just been a very quiet player. Hasn't been as the dangerous Aaron Judge we really know for him to be. I want to give the edge to Cal Raleigh on this one. I just think the guy's been phenomenal. He continues to prove that he could hit a long ball, either batting lefty or righty, doesn't matter. And he's catching every single day. I know his numbers are not as impressive, but whose numbers are impressive anyway these days? I mean, the batting average is as low as it's ever been in the game of baseball. The guy has delivering every time for the Mariners. This is the first time we see a deep Mariner team that could go deep into the playoffs. And
yeah.
it's because of Cal Raleigh. And now, if he gets that 62 home run, which he could possibly do in the next 6 games, I'm going to give it to Cal Raleigh 100% if I see that happen. Why? Because I feel like Aaron Judge has had an impressive season, but it's been just a normal season for him. He could do way better. I think
But
his
see, that's
nagging
the thing,
injury,
though. That's the
but
thing, though. It shouldn't be that way. It
but
should be more like you're performing and you're putting up those numbers, and no one is really close to you. I think
I also want to vote for the most exciting player right now, and Cal Raleigh's
it
one.
is Kyle Riley. Yeah, you're right. It is. It
Every
is.
time he's at bat, I need to see the big thumper hit one out. I'm sorry. Aaron Judge has gotten kind of boring lately. I know what to expect. Either he gets a home run or he strikes out. That's who Aaron Judge is these days.
Yeah.
I mean, Cal Raleigh does the same, but I mean, it feels a little bit more impressive because he's a new guy. I feel like Aaron Judge just got a little bit boring. You're just kind of like, okay, again, Aaron Judge. He's done the same thing every year. Who's out there doing something better than him? Well, Cal Raleigh could also hit 62 home runs, and he's a catcher. Something we're probably never going to see in history again.
We're not. We're not. But see, that's where all these narratives come in and say, okay, he's a catcher, he's all this, let's give him the MVP. And you're taking away from his performance as well. Because you're looking at Aaron Judge, he has good numbers. It's not like he doesn't have any good numbers. And just because you want to change it up, like say, oh, you know what, I'll give it to Kyle Riley. Let's talk about the National League. A lot of people were talking about Schwarber. They were saying, oh, Schwarber has the most home runs in the National League. But don't forget about Ohtani. Look at what he's doing as well. He's pitching and still hitting 50 plus home runs. Like I've said it in this show forever. Ohtani's not ever going to lose on MVP if he keeps doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Are you going to change it up just because he didn't win the home run, battle in the NL? Like, come on.
Exactly.
That's what's crazy, dude. So that's what dude, Ernie, dude, you've heard me say, Cal Riley should deserve to win the MVP because he's a catcher and stuff like that. You remember when we had that conversation, right?
Right.
So now what I'm saying is like, I'm not taking back those words. I'm just saying like, damn, it takes more than just that. And it'll suck if it happens. Imagine Schwarber winning the MVP over Ohtani. Would you be upset about that? I mean, I wouldn't be upset. I'm just like, it'll turn heads though.
It would because Cal Schwarber's also a DH, right?
Yeah.
We talk about Shohei Ohtani. Well, he doesn't play on the field. And I mean, so does it Schwarber. Schwarber's also a DH as well. Now Ohtani gets the edge because he's a pitcher. Although he may not have, phenomenal pitching numbers this year as a starter because he hasn't really pitched anything above 5 innings.
Yeah.
So he has not much to prove for it. But Ohtani still takes the edge because at the end of the day, he's a starter and it's able to do more than Schwarber could ever do in the pitching mound.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right,
Man,
you got Kyle Riley. And I guess we're switching it up because I think you had Aaron Judge before, and I had Carl Riley. Now we flipped it up.
I feel like this past 2 months, Cal Raleigh has proven to me that, yeah. I thought he was going to finally cool off, and he just never has.
Dude, that's the
After that
thing.
home run
Usually
30, I
after
was like,
exactly,
yeah,
yeah,
like,
after
yeah,
home
he's
run
going to die
derby.
out. And he's only probably going to hit 10 home runs the rest of the second half. No, this guy just even picked it up even more.
He
And that's
did.
where I think he's had the most impressive season. I mean, like you said, Judge is having almost a 50 home run season. He just needs one more. That's
Mm-hmm.
incredible numbers. But I feel like when Judge giving you 62 other years, 59, 62, now you're like seeing 50, that just not seem as impressive as other years, you know?
Damn, you're putting like I guess you're putting like oh you didn't do as good as this year like as last year. You're not winning it. You got to do better.
Yeah, but Judge does have the on base percentage over 450, which is impressive. Man, we're gonna see what these writers write, and this is gonna be one of those. We're gonna see what do the writers really want. Do you want to go with all the stats or the long ball? What drives these fans to like baseball more, though? And
Yeah,
if you talk about the '90s, the long ball always wins.
yeah, and
Take the long ball,
let's not take away what the MVP actually means. It's the most valuable player in your team in
right?
the whole league. It's an individual award, yes, but it involves the whole team. Can the Yankees perform without Aaron Judge? We already know. No. Can the Mariners perform without Kyle Riley? We already saw. No.
Yeah, they will suck
Yeah,
too.
yeah, exactly. So these two players are the most valuable players in their teams. Not only that, but in the league. So we're talking about two guys that are going to battle it out. The end of the season, we're going to see who wins it. But like I said, I think they shouldn't be changing things around when it comes to that because, and you just said it. If you hit 50 home runs last year, you better do better and no one's really close to you, I think that's kind of like I don't know. I don't agree, but I'm not the writer, dude. I'm not the one that's gonna get talked about when they don't give it to the right guy. Because some people are gonna agree and disagree, right?
Definitely, man. But Cal Raleigh just got to give a special mention that this guy is lights out right now. He also has a lot of protection in that lineup. You got to remind yourself. I mean, you added Eugenio Suarez in the middle of the lineup, Julio Rodriguez. They're all performing better as of late just because
Yeah,
the protection they have. You got pitchers. What the heck am I supposed to pitch to this guy? You just face Julio. Now you got to face Cal Raleigh. Now you got to face Eugenio, the Naylor brother. You name it. They could get you anyway.
yeah. There was one thing that I learned when I was a kid. I thought I was the MVP at the end of the year one season because I did better than the season before, and what the coach told me after that kind of like it didn't sit well with me. He didn't give it to me because other kids needed to win the MVP, and that because I didn't make that team better, I didn't win it. And I'm like, what? That sucked because I felt like I was. So these guys are making their teams better, dude. Both of them. That's why it's so hard to choose.
Right.
And I think when you're looking into it deeper like that, and you're saying like, man, what else are they doing? Are these guys talking to their players? Are they out there in the community? Which both of them are, dude. You can't say anything negative about one. Like if you were having like a discussion of Juan Soto and Tatis, now that's hard too because these two guys have a lot of attitude, right? So you're like kind of like, oh, who do I pick? Like the lesser of what evil, which one's more evil? I don't
Yeah.
know. So that's what's crazy, dude. Like, but yeah, all right, we'll leave it at that. We'll know. We'll know. Is it after the World Series? After the World
We will
Series, we'll
know.
know, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. They'll
Okay.
have the
All
baseball
right.
awards show.
Yeah. All right. What else, man? Is there anything else before we log off? We haven't hit the hour yet, but I feel like we talked about the main points, which were the playoff uh, divisions, and see what we're going. I think we're gonna have an early show next Sunday, right after the season's over. So we'll talk about the matchups and see
Yeah.
what matchups are good and who's gonna win. We'll give our predictions on that. I think we should.
Yeah, definitely. The wild card is coming up the next Tuesday, so it's pretty exciting. We'll have a breakdown here of all the breakdown analysis of all the upcoming matches for the postseason. It's exciting time, man. Baseball is coming. A lot of football fans will be jumping back to the baseball wagon. Just gonna throw
Yeah.
that out there. Once your team starts 0-3, 1-2, you're gonna be like, you know what? This team's crap. Going back to my baseball team.
Yeah.
We'll accept you with open arms here and ready to talk ball with you guys.
True, true. Hey, but your team and my team are 3-0, so we're good.
Yeah, that's great. We've already sneaked to some wins today. I'm a Niner fan. Carlos is a Chargers fan. I know he's up. He's excited. He hasn't seen his
Oh
Chargers
yeah.
be 3-0 in a long time. So
23 years, dude. 23 years it
to
took them
be
to be
exact.
3-0 the
Oh,
last
wow.
time. The last time they did
That
that, dude.
is wild. I mean, Niners have been impressive for the past 10 years, but we can't win the big game as of late. And I'm just kind of like, okay, I'll be impressed when we finally win it. So I'm being hard
Yeah,
on my Niners, but I'm expecting a lot. It's, like the same way with your Dodgers, right? They have the talent. You better do something with it.
yeah. Corbin Carroll 30-30, man.
Yes.
I see him doing 40-40 in the future, to be honest.
His first Diamondback player with a 30-30 in history. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
that's impressive. All right. Well, last mentions, Ernie?
Well, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're going to see you next Sunday. Hopefully, we'll talk ball here with you guys. Postseason talk is here. And if you're a new fan of baseball coming into the playoffs, we hope to see you here. This is the best time for baseball. This is where the live actually finally comes to life, and you see players play at another level, man, that you will never see in a regular season game. So
Definitely.
we're excited. How about you, man? Are you excited for postseason?
Hell yeah. I can't wait, man. October is just right at the corner. We get to experience a little bit of cold weather, and I'm ready for it. I'm
Yeah.
over the heat. So it's going to be fun, man. I know I've been kind of down on the Dodgers, and, I'm still a fan. I do have to go ahead and neutralize it once I get into the show. It's hard to do.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
but if I get into it, I'm like, hey, man, my Dodgers are doing good. Then like
Hey, man,
it
look
is
at
what it
me.
is.
Look at me. I've been watching the postseason every year, no matter how my Angels do. I mean, it's been 11 seasons since the Angels last been in the playoffs, and we didn't even win a matchup. So the last time the Angels won a postseason game has been since 2009. Talk about a
Oh,
loyal fan. Every
yeah.
single day living in here in LA, they're like, why just don't become a Dodger fan? Why are you wasting your time? And it's just, how am I just going to make the switch? As much as I would love to, it's just not going to happen. I already made my decision when I was a kid. It's frustrating watching your team not be in the mix every year, but hey, man, the postseason is still great, and you get to see other talent from other teams and players that you never probably heard of make a name for themselves.
Yeah. It's hard, dude. I don't know why people say like, oh, it's easy to jump ship and say, oh, I'm gonna become a Marlins fan now. Like, it's really hard. It's super hard to do that. I find myself doing that with every team, like every sport here. I can't do that. I can't be like, oh, I'm gonna start going out for this team now because they're winners. I'm not like that, dude. I've never been like that, and I know I can't say that to other people. Like, I don't even say it to you because I know how hard it is for me. So if I can't do it, why would I want other people to do that? Nah, that's not cool.
Hey, man, but
So
that's the beauty of it. I've been waiting 11 seasons for my Angels to make it, but that one year we finally do, it's going to be something special for me
yeah,
because it's going to feel like, well, who knows how much longer am I going to see this again?
yeah. Nah, dude, it's gonna happen, man. It's just gonna happen. It's baseball, and baseball is one of those sports, dude. We've been saying it all show long and all season long. So don't give up. But from all of us here on Real Talk Baseball, I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Ernie Orange. Real Talk Baseball, signing out.